Hi there, Simon Hingle from Tora Kukri. I'd just like to say that before we proceed with the videos where we give our opinions on a particular cookery, that Tora itself has no interest in supplying the Gurkhas with service issue cookery. It would mean, or probably require us to get a plasma cutting machine or something of that sort. It would also mean that we wouldn't be able to supply our customers with the cookery that we've worked so hard, both the economy and ourselves, at being able to produce and replicate the cookery of old. So it really holds no interest for me whatsoever. Unless, of course, they were going to go for good, high quality cookery, then I would be interested. But trouble is, the Gurkhas would have to wait for an awfully long time before we were able to actually supply them with all the cookery that they require. So before you watch these videos, keep in mind that we, Tora, has no interest in making the Gurkhas service issue cookery of any type whatsoever. I would also like to thank Major Jonathan Titley, former 6GR Gurkha officer, for all his help and also helping me do the correct wording in some of the correspondence between myself and the procurement officer. And I'd also like to thank the procurement officer for his replies and stuff like that as well. It's been quite a bit, so thank you to both of them. And I hope you enjoy what we've got to say, because it's for genuine reasons. We really are doing these videos not to promote Tora in any way, but to show the procurement officer and obviously the general public the sort of thing they're considering having as issued service number 2. And I think I made my feelings quite clear in a previous video, and I certainly made them clear in the video that's coming up. Anyway, hope you enjoy what we've got to say, and as I say, it is with no interest at Tora at heart at all, but purely in the interest of getting the Gurkhas to be issued decent cookery. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves.
Okay, first impressions. It's a short, stocky, dumpy looking object. The scabbard's not put together very well to my liking. It's too fat. The leather looks a bit thin. The rivets on it don't look like they'll take any durable wear and tear if it was in action. The brass plate is a bit too sharp, so if it was on your webbing, it could damage the webbing, damage you. The scabbard itself, very loose, very noisy, not what you want in the field. The handle itself, okay, the wood looks nice, but there's a hole in it for a lanyard or for a hook or something, which is no point, because it just provides, as it's not put together very well, another sharp object to cut your hand. It's a full tang, and the tang itself is proud of the handle, so either the wood has shrunk or they've used the incorrect wood, which has made the edges of the tang quite sharp, so with long-term use you'd end up blistering, cutting your hand. The blade itself is too short, more akin for a utility style use, or a hammer for your tent pegs. It wouldn't do you any justice chopping through a jungle. Yeah, although it's quite a.
So what about using it all day if you're camping in woodland?
No good. You wouldn't. You wouldn't want to use that. You'd end up doing yourself some damage, I think, trying to use a blade like that.
I totally agree.
And I think the only use for that for me would be as a hammer, or as just a basic utility knife, but not to be used for in the field for trekking through woodland, jungle, or battle.
Steady, go.
First impressions, looks a bit cheap. Yeah, the webbing, the hanging belt, yeah, it'd last about 2 minutes in the field. Yeah, start hanging that around and start crawling up and down and what have you, and those would be ripped off and you'd be well pissed off. Yeah, it's fairly fat. It's a fairly fat one. Now, from a scabbard point of view, I can put up with that. But if it was slimmer, okay, it might bolt on a little easier. But whatever. But I can do that one without any problems. Yeah, aesthetically, handle looks well, but just doing it, bloody, yeah, the tang on the things, it's got a sharp edge. Yeah, your hands, yeah, when they get a little bit wet, yeah, it's going to start ripping your hands up, and you're going to be well hacked off with that one. Pulling it out, feels numb. There's no balance. Yeah, it's a big lump on that one. Utility knife, yeah, there's loads of small Bowie utility knives. But that's not gonna.
So could you cut through the jungle with it?
No, you'd be bloody. You'd chop your hands off before you chopped anything off down there, because you've only got 6 inches or 7 inches. Yeah, of
it's about 10 inches, I think.
Blade. Yeah, but it's not. It's a bit of a. It's a small utility handy blade, but yeah, but the balance on it.
Well,
yeah.
Even if you went camping, if you had to use it a lot, what would you say to that?
Well, close but no cigar.
Okay. Well, I've covered a lot of what I think in another video that I did recently. Seriously, why do Gurkhas need a lanyard hole? I mean, they fought in World War I, they fought in World War II without lanyard holes, and they fought very successfully in Burma. And that's where you're going to need a lanyard hole and a lanyard if you're going to use it. Don't need it. That's why you've got the flare at the back there. As Chris pointed out quite rightly, it's very noisy. Now I know lots of guys will use their own setup on their webbing, but that's really irrelevant. Kukri that's potentially their service number 2 should come with the scabbard or the fittings that are required for modern webbing. They shouldn't have to get a Kukri like this, take it out, dump that, and then get their own stuff sorted out. As I said before, the handle is terrible, it's shocking, it's got sharp edges. I wouldn't even use it for camping, because even after a short while, it's a block, it's just a brick. The best thing for this is to use it as a crowbar, or as Chris said, as a hammer. As for it being a military Kukri, absolutely no chance, no way. Absolute bare minimum for a Kukri for the Gurkhas, I would say, is 29 centimetres. But I prefer blades around 32.5 centimetres to 34 centimetres, depending on your build, etc. This is an absolute piece of 8T.